One-time owner of Wendy's, now a rocket scientist, Dave Thomas. Kind of wants some Wendy's now.
Yikes.
David Thomas is going down to 6. What's your go-to Wendy's order? Don't act like you don't have one.
I usually just get the double original. No mayo, no onion.
Dave's Dub?
Yep. I don't like the tiny boigas. I like the thick ones.
Tiny boigas.
Boigas.
Is that a boig? How do you spell that?
Boigas?
Yeah, how do you spell boig? I can't even
How
say
do you think you spell boiga?
Boigas. Dave's Dub is a great sandwich. I'm a junior bacon cheeseburger guy, though.
That's fine.
And the double stack, surprisingly disappointing.
You know what? The double stack used to be 99 cents when I was in high school. Now it's $1.99, and I just don't order it anymore.
They realize that their mistake, though. It should be a $2 burger. It's way too good for a $1. Oh, okay. Here's a question as Dave Thomas falls down to 17. Chocolate Frosty or Vanilla Frosty?
All right. I have never ordered a Vanilla Frosty, and I will not ever order a Vanilla Frosty.
You are so stupid.
Wow.
Vanilla Frosty for life.
Wow. Well, considering it's only been around for like the last decade or whatever.
For life, man. Are you one of those monsters who dips their fries in the Frosty?
You know, I tried it once to see what the hype was about, but I just did not think it was worthwhile.
Nah, I don't understand why people do that either.
I mean, you get a little sweet and a little salty, but what people are missing is that you also get a little soggy. And that's not where I want my French fries to be. It's like the opposite of what I want my French fries to be.
Delaware Secrets here for Dave Thomas. No transformation. Here be a ponder. Take a look at the top couple of cards. He'll put them back just how he likes them, and then we'll see if he wants to keep them or shuffle.
Now, Shelter Thicket, not a card we see too much in Legacy. Even if David Thomas didn't know what his opponent was on already, I think he has to assume at this point that it has to be lands.
If you see a Shelter Thicket, it should really be a huge tip-off. Now, It does make you wonder how much Legacy David Thomas has been playing recently. I know he's been putting up a pretty good performance here with Blue Death Shadow, regardless of how much he's been playing. But if you're deep in a Legacy and you know the format, there's only one, I believe, that plays Shelter Thicket.
I'm sure we can find another on MTG-Goldfish.com.
Ponder, resolves, keep it.
Well, that means Delver's going to be flipping next turn unless David wants to crack this fetch land and play something. And then we get to spin the wheel all over again.
Flooded Strand is the land. Here's the attack for 1.
Important to note, the Blue-Black Death Shadow deck only has 5 lands that actually produce colored mana. So if the land deck's able to draw some Wastelands and chain together that plus maybe Ghost Quarter, could just strip the Death Shadow deck of being able to cast spells entirely. However, with pressure on the battlefield, that's not always game over.
I've been told by @thetunneling_cat on Twitter that the real tech is getting a half-half Frosty, which I didn't even know that was an option. And
Okay.
I believe that's probably actually a pretty good play, now that I think about it. It looks like a Punishing Fire is going to go after this Delver of Secrets.
So Dave has Daze and Stubborn Denial in hand, and it looks like he chose to stub instead of Daze.
Interesting.
That could mean a few different things here, but mostly what it means is that he doesn't have a big creature because that Stubborn Denial could be more valuable as the game progresses.
Well, this gets interesting, too, because, you know, it's kind of counterintuitive to counter Punishing Fire, especially when your opponent has a Grove of the Burnlow. So Dave must be thinking, you know what? I can get this back. I'll be totally fine. I can counter it again and get some damage in with my Delver / Insectile Aberration. So this should be interesting.
Yeah, but it's also important to note that the Death Shadow deck does play a bunch of copies of Wasteland, and if he has one in hand already, his plan is to protect his Delver at all costs. He also wants to get spells in the graveyard so that he can cast Gurmag Angler.
True. Very true. Can't Punishing Fire that one.
No, the Lands deck does have a number of ways to deal with large creatures, though, namely Mazavith, but also things like Tabernacle of the Veil while using your Mana Denial package.
Here's another Ponder, and David Thomas not happy with that. He shuffles immediately. Time to take a look at 3 new cards.
Hilariously enough, Grove of the Burn Willows has notoriously been an annoyance for Death Shadow in Modern. Now it's looking like it might be an annoyance for Death Shadow in Legacy.
Yeah, no kidding. Giving those life points away for those Death Shadows players.
I wonder how often Dave Thomas just says, it's not rocket science.
I think it's non-zero. Actually, I think it's probably 0.
Yeah.
Pretty serious guy.
Yeah.
I think he's above that bad joke.
Oh.
Maybe
I'm not.
Yeah, we learned that just now.
Not really a great start from the lands deck. Normally they want to start off with something like a Mox Diamond Exploration to really get extra land drops while cycling through your Life from the Limbs and such. That way you can start wastelanding your opponent and such while hitting extra land drops.
Ooh, a Thoughtseize. It's interesting. Thomas with a couple cards in hand, looking to lower his life total even more. Now, again, remember, he is playing Death Shadow after all, so he's looking to deal himself a whole bunch of damage. At the same time, these Grove of the Burned Willow is going to raise the life, but also you put yourself into a low enough life total, Punishing Fire can actually kill you. So, walking a weird little tightrope here. Timothy Schulz thinking about what he should be doing here.
Yeah, I mean, it's very likely he has something like Crop Rotation, maybe another Punishing Fire. He just doesn't know if he wants to cast it in response or just go ahead and let this resolve.
Well, spells aplenty here for Timothy Schulz. Life in the Loam, Gamble, Crop Rotation, Engineer Explosives, the Tabernacle, a Pendrel Veil, and a Thespian Stage.
Yeah, and even though Wasteland off the Crop Rotation would be pretty good since Dave's been stuck on 2 mana for a few turns. Not really great when you can't continually play extra lands each turn. You're kind of just breaking even and treading water.
Yeah, on the hunt for Explanation, or another card that you see sometimes in lands, not as much nowadays, Mana Bond.
Yup.
Would also be a really nice one here for Timothy Schulz. Having some trouble really getting off the ground.
I think Dave correctly identifying the Crop Rotation is likely the most dangerous card here. Ones that can be cast at instant speed are often tough to beat.
All right, going to give him a life total. Give him a little life, excuse me. And now sacrifice Windswept Heath with the Punishing Fire trigger on the stack, it appears. So now there's a Taiga. Shuffle and present will Schultz, and then we'll see that Punishing Fire come back most likely. And perhaps Punishing Fire be cast on that Delver.
Yeah, that's my guess. I'm pretty sure that Daze is going to happen here, which it does. That also, if David doesn't have another land, that allows him to replay the Underground Sea and actually generate an extra mana, which is important because a lot of the spells in his deck only cost 1 mana.
So Insectile Aberration still being a pain in the neck here for Timothy Schulz. Oh, there's the real big fish. Okay. Can't Explosives that one away. No Crop Rotation anymore. This looks like it may have been David Thomas's plan all along. Get you within range of 2 shots from Gurmag Angler.
Yeah, and if he flips this Delver, that's pretty good.
And another Delver.
So even though the Punishing Fire can be returned here and cast, if Schultz doesn't have a land that produces mana, the Daze as the last card in David's hand could stop that and put Timothy all the way down to 1. Timothy's alternative plan could just to be play Tabernacle Pendrel Veil and just force David to pay a bunch of mana every turn to keep his creatures around.
There's an Engineered Explosives.
But none of these cards do a whole lot against Gurmag Angler.
Now, EE coming down. Now, I remember there was like this weird rules change. They changed it back about what the transformed version of Insectile Aberration and Transform Permanents cost.
I'm pretty sure it's the same as the front side.
Okay.
It used to be the back sides were 0, and Engineered Explosives on 0 would kill like flipped Garrick, or sorry, transformed Garrick Relentless, transformed Delver of Secrets, Jace Vryn's Prodigy, which turned into I don't even remember.
Jace Telepath Unbound. Dude, you've activated that card so many times.
Yeah,
I don't. Me?
Why would I read the backside?
You use that one too. You crushed people with Jeskai Black for so long.
Yeah, I even played it in Pyromancer's goggles.
You're supposed to know Jace, man. That was your boy.
My broy.
Little gamble time. Let's see what we're going to find here. Keep in mind, that's being staged. Tabernacle, Ventral Veil already in hand right now for Timothy Schulz. Oh my goodness, Jonathan Job has done the impossible. He's won a game when he's in the feature match.
He won a game?
He won a game in the feature match,
He must have cast turn 3 Teferi plus Fog. Or sorry, turn 4 Teferi plus Fog.
Bant next is up a game right now over Julian John playing Red-Black Aggro, and then Brian Basoco playing Humans. He's up a game over Brandon Dollaway playing Storm. Now remember, this team on the right, it didn't have Dave Thomas when it won that team open in Baltimore earlier this year. It was Rudy Brisca, Brian Basoco, and Jonathan Job. Rudy not here, David Thomas filling it admirably. And Basoco and Job might win themselves another team open here. Step one, of course, is winning this match.
Yep.
And they're well on their way.
And then they still have to go through Team BCW.
Yeah, which is not an easy task. BC Dub crushing this weekend.
Yeah. On the quest to get Tan and Grace a trophy.
See what land Timothy Schulz wants to play here. Thought about playing a Thespian stage. Remember, he hasn't played his land yet for the turn. All right, there's Thespian stage with the ability to blow up engineered explosives. We'll pass the turn back over to David Thomas. Man, I'll tell you, what if he had Stifle? David Thomas, oh boy.
That would be nice. Oh, there's a small chance. Okay, I was going to say there's a chance David doesn't actually know the rule change with the transformed cards.
Yeah, so I'm... Yeah, yeah.
He doesn't know. They changed it. He doesn't play that much Magic anymore, and the last time he played, any card that was transformed on the backside, if it didn't have a converted mana cost attached to it, it was 0.
It was 0, yeah. So EE takes care of Delver Secrets and Exile Liberation, and the real big fish in Grimag Angler going to knock Schulz down to 7. Now, as great as that was for Schulz, that's even better. There's a Mazavith.
Ooh, that's not good. Need a Wasteland here, right now.
There's the attack. Mazavith will take care of the Angler, and now we're going to pass the turn back over to Schulz, who's now he's starting to get all set up here. Thespian stage looks like it's going to go active.
Yeah, it looks like it's copying Mazavith just to make sure that a Wasteland doesn't let Thomas plow through for 5 more.
And if that's the case, I think that's a very smart decision there by Timothy Schulz, because now Gurmag Angler is starting to shut some things down. So Mazavith showed up right on time.
Yeah, this Grove of the Burn Will is also churning up the life total of David, so even a Death Shadow is going to be hard to stick onto the battlefield.
Yeah, one of the things there, you saw like the activation of Thespian stage. You can pay with the Grove and pay with colored mana. Just say, hey, take a life.
Yeah.
I'll give you any reason to take a life. Here's life from the loam.
And because there's no more mana burn, even if he wasn't activating anything, he could just tap it for mana and give David a life at random times.
And now David Thomas is going to do what I think is a very smart decision. Now Lance is really starting to get its game going. Loam is starting to go. Maze of Ith is starting to cause problems. Thespian stage, another copy of Maze of Ith. Punishing Fire is there. He says, I'm out of here. Concedes this game. So Timothy Schulz gets his team on the board. Lands up a game now over David Thomas playing Blue-Black Death Shadow. Time to go to the sideboards, Todd. We're going to start with DT, who's got 3 Dreaded Knight, 3 Surgical Extraction, 2 Hymnotorak, 2 Liliana, the Last Hope, 2 Throne of Geth, I love it, Diabolic Edict, Engineer Explosives, and Kaboom, Nile Spellbomb.
Yeah, so this matchup is actually not super easy for Blue-Black Death Shadow, especially in Game 1. The Lance deck has a lot of means of attack. Hitting their mana sources is a big deal. Punishing Fire, not great, but it does clear off Delver of Secrets, one of the better early threats that the deck can play. And a lot of your soft counter magic like Daze or Stubborn Denial just isn't very good. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be transitioning into more of an aggro deck that has some hard-hitting sideboard cards. Surgical Extraction is very good against this Life from the Loam deck, taking away its key piece. Hymn to Torok is okay. I don't know if it's better than something like Stubborn Denial, since Stubborn Denial can basically lock the game up if it gets later on and you get a Gurmag or a big Death Shadow on the battlefield. Diabolic Edict can buy you a turn against a Resolve Merit Lodge token, so I don't mind that too much. And then Null Spellbomb just acts as another sideboard card to annihilate the graveyard from the land side of things.
For Timothy Schulz, I got 4 Sphere Resistance, 3 Corrosion Grip, 3 Tireless Tracker, 2 Choke, 1 Chalice of the Void, 1 Molten Vortex, and a Todd Stevens Superstar, 1 Raminath Excavator. Talk to me, Todd.
I like just going full-blown mana denial here. I like Sphere of Resistance. I like Choke. I even like Chalice of the Void. I don't really like much else. You don't want the games to go super long. You just want to shut your opponent out and force them to a spot where they can't really do much of anything. And cards like Sphere Resistance and Choke do that very well.
Well, those are the options there for both players. Now we've got all 3 matches have a game underneath them. Right now, the team of Thomas, Basoco, and Job, they lead things. As everyone's sideboarding, we will take this moment to talk about the StarCityGames.com weekly sale, where you can save up to 20% off of all English foils. This one's going to end Monday morning. That's tomorrow at 10:59 a.m. New sale coming up at 11 a.m. So make sure you do bookmark go.starcitygames.com/weekly sale, because we have a new sale for you every Monday morning. So, Todd.
Yes.
I call Gurmag Angler the real big fish.
You do that a lot. Isn't that like a jam band?
It's a ska band.
Ska band?
Ska band. And Riki Hayashi of StarCityGames.com, a longtime friend, just said on Twitter, Cedric Phillips keeps calling Gurmag Angler the real big fish. A, is he referencing the 90s ska band Real Big Fish? Yes. B, can he name one of their other songs? I'm insulted.
I'm on his side.
You Don't Know is one of their songs.
Okay.
The Setup.
Wait, what about Flagpole Sitta? Is that the same band?
Oh, my God, no.
I don't know. I don't think anybody knows. They all sound the same.
What band are they? They're Harvey Danger.
Wow, nice.
Get out of the booth now. Take your headset off and leave.
Okay, no, you told me to. See you later.
Unbelievable. Flagpole Sitta? You think that is Real Big Fish?
I don't actually know.
Do you know anything? That's also a great karaoke song, by the way. The Flagpole Sitta.
Oh, I know. I've done it before. That's not true. It's way too hard. It's very hard.
Unbelievable.
They talk so fast and say so many words. What about that song? Ever had to knock on wood, but you know I haven't yet.
It's the Mighty Mighty Bosstones, dude.
For it isn't good.
It's
forever.
It's the impression that I get.
The impression that I get.
There you go, man. Was that your trumpet? Is that what that was? There you go.
We have a good time here.
Any other hits from the 90s you need to know about? Huh? Did you know that the Mighty Mighty Bosstones were the soundtrack to a video game called Rogue Trip, which was a Twisted Metal ripoff, and the star vehicle in the game was a wiener machine? What's the Oscar Mayer wiener thing called? Like the wiener wagon or whatever? Yeah. The Wienermobile. Thank you. Yeah. And its name was, of course, Meat Wagon. Yeah. I know a little bit about the Mighty Mighty Bosstones, man. They also have a song called Royal Oil, which is very good. Don't at me.
I'm sure no one will.
Good.
Because no one cares about ska.
Ska's great. Streetlight Manifesto was in town on Friday, and Aaron Baird saw them, and they were great. Hopefully I picked up a couple new fans with that rant.
Nice.
Hopefully
I alienated some more people so they don't talk to me about ska.
Perfect. Perfect. Ska's great. You wrong.
Sure. I let people like what they like. Just don't come shoving it in my face.
Now I'm just going to come. You know that meme where that kid's blowing the trumpet at the girl that's walking away? Yeah, I'm just going to do that with everything now to you.
That's one of my favorite things.
Yeah, it's a great meme. All right, Dave Thomas. You're in a tough matchup. Going to start things off with the Thoughtseize. Crop rotation, plural. There's 2 of them. A couple of lands here. Maze Vith, Dark Depths, Thespian Stage, Ghost Quarter. No colored mana. Uh-oh.
Yeah, there's a chance, though, he just goes Ghost Quarter on Dave, and Dave just might not have another land either. And he definitely doesn't have a basic land in his deck because he just carbon copied Josh Utter Layton's.
Smart.
It is probably really smart, but I'm probably going to play a basic land.
Coward.
I know. Look, you're talking to the guy who has literally never put the mountain in his Sneak and Show deck.
Good.
Just not once.
You know why? Because you don't need it.
Yeah, because I'm not a coward.
Sounds like you are because you're about to play basic in Death Shadow.
I mean, it would be pretty good here.
If Timothy activates the Ghost Quarter.
That's fair.
If he does.
Well, I drew that Taiga. That was a good draw.
Not a bad draw. Needed some colored mana. Dave Thomas is going to sacrifice the Polluted Delta. Maybe it's a Water Grave kind of time. There we go. I like it. Right in your face. Bang! Take 2.
The crop rotation in Timothy's hands actually going to be pretty good at some point in this game against a Wasteland for David Thomas. Either that or it's going to find him the other half of his combo, the Dark Depths Thespian Stage variety.
Time for David Thomas to draw a card. He needs a creature. He needs to get something going here. What do we got now? We got a Preordain. That's a powerful Magic card. Scry 2. There we are.
Basically just looking for either a way to deal himself a little more damage so he can cast Death Shadows that have been stuck in his hand, or he's looking for just threats in general.
Cycle Street Wraith, draw a card, down to 13. Now, we watched David Thomas earlier. He cycled Street Wraith reanimated on turn number 1 against Tannen Grace. That was a heck of a start. After that, it was a Death Shadow, and then Tannen conceded the turn after that.
Yeah, it's a pretty good start from the deck, especially when you're on the play. You do yourself a large chunk of damage in a hurry, and that helps you turn on your Death Shadows and makes them larger more quickly.
Thomas, not doing much of anything right now. No creature. And this could be very simple for Timothy Schulz. Timothy Schulz is going to play a Thespian Stage. He's going to play a Dark Depths. And he's going to say, all right, well, I got this.
What's up?
So you need to do something or you're going to die. Cycle Street Wraith down to 11.
I think David is dead.
I think you might be right.
I also think Timothy should have main phased the heck out of that.
I would have preferred to main
play
phase.
around Wasteland.
I would prefer to main phase
because
20.
worst come to worst, your opponent just plays like Diabolic Edict. You don't have to main phase upkeep it. You know.
That's also fine.
You know.
I'd rather play on Wasteland than random removal spell.
Like a Stifle.
Either way.
Yeah.
We got ourselves a winner. Timothy Schulz Dinner. He put this team on the board. It looks like Brian Basoco may have just won his match over Brandon Dollaway. So that means we got one left. Jonathan Job, it's been a tough show on camera for you this weekend.
Redemption time!
Now you've got the chance to completely redeem yourself.
Put the rocket scientist on your back. He's not very large. Carry him to the finish line. Let's go, Job. Let's go, Job.
Oh, we're going to see.
Let's
Job looks
go,
like,
Job.
Well, we're going to see if Julian John has an answer to this Lyra Dawnbringer right away as we jump into an interesting little game here. Julian John with a Heart of Kirin, a Goblin Chain Whirl and a Scrap Heap Scrounger, along with a couple of lands, one of which does produce black mana for Jonathan Job. All the colors his Bat Nexus deck needs, along with a search for his Kanta, and now a Lyra Dawnbringer.
Looks like we're pretty deep in this game already. There looks like there's an unlicensed integration from Julian John in his graveyard that destroyed a creature earlier on. This Lyra might be just good to go. Baneslayer Angel, a pretty sweet card against your traditional red deck.
This has been a sound strategy in the past, been a sound strategy in this standard format. Right now, we're going to see if Lyra can pull her weight and help Jonathan Job win this match for his team.
As we discussed earlier, there's a good chance that Jonathan Job just doesn't ever attack with this Lyra Dawnbringer until he starts casting Nexus of Fate.
Now, I like this. This is a good attack here from Julian John. Says, I've got a first strike creature, so do you.
I actually think that was a pretty good bluff because there's no way that dude's got a Braid in his deck against Turbo Fog.
Would you have snapped them off?
I would have broke it off, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
them.
worst come to worst, you gain 5 life.
That's true.
Who cares?
Well, maybe Job's got some interest in attacking. He says, like, I'll attack you, and then I'll fog.
Yeah, or Nexus. Attack you, Nexus.
Yep.
No, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's a good bluff because the odds of him having it are, like, not 0, and there's, like, some upside to making sure that you keep your Lyra Dawnbringer around, especially if you're going to keep casting fogs or if you're going to keep time walking.
Oh, baby, here we go. Here we go. Nexus of Fate here from Jonathan Job. Is this deck actually going to do what it's trying to do?
Smoosh. Smoosh.
Jonathan Job wants to take another turn. You saw him transform that Searcher Escanta into Escanta, the Sunken Ruin, which is why he was able to play a 7-mana spell this turn.
He found it.
Here we go.
He was looking so hard, and he finally found it.
Lyra Dawnbringer, is it time for you to come into the red zone?
Well, I think so. It's basically a free attack. You get your extra turn next turn.
Job will draw a card. Oh, okay, so he did this on his upkeep. Okay, got it.
Oh, so to make it give you a higher likelihood of drawing another Nexus of Fate.
Smart.
It was after he flipped, before he played a land. Yeah, that was heads up.
And now
Modern Classic
he'll untap. So 5 damage dealt. We go back over to Jonathan Job now. 15 to 13.
Upkeep doing it again. Again, increasing likelihood that he draws another one.
Yep. Very smart play here from Job because it does shuffle back into the deck. He just wants to increase his chances of drawing Time Walks because that can get the game over all by itself.
Yep. And it's important to note that Julian John does have a Heart of Kieran that can chump block at some point if he really needs it to. But he has very little incentive to do that until either the attack is lethal or Jonathan doesn't cast a Time Walk at some point.
All right. Job will draw a card. He's on the hunt for more copies of Nexus of Fate. In for 5. So now it's going to be 10 to 18 in favor of Jonathan Job. Job will untap. Does he have another play on his upkeep before he draws a card?
Nope.
He does not. Hasn't found another copy of Nexus of Fate just yet.
Any fog should be pretty good, though. He's looking for maybe a way to draw some cards.
And going to 23 sure does sound pretty appealing.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage that he's done over the last few turns. A lot of life he's gained as a result.
Now, David Thomas, Brian Basoco, they are going to team up here with Jonathan Job and say, hey, man, we win this match. We're in the top 8. We're going to be able to get another title here. Here comes Lyra Dawnbringer. Does Julian John want to do the chump block here with the Heart of Kieran?
Yeah, that's a tough question. If I'm Julian John, I have to assume that he doesn't have the Time Walk here, just because he's been upkeeping it. He could have drawn it during his draw step.
Yeah, that's the big one.
But even if he does, though, you can still block it next turn more than likely. The Banned Nexus deck has very little in the way of actual spot removal.
I guess what's scary there is if you say I'll go to 5, he drew a Time Walk, then he placed a Fairy and tucks it, you lose.
True. That's true.
So you're a little scared of that?
Well, if that's the case, maybe you should just block the first time he casts Nexus.
Sure.
Just in case. You can play it ultra safe, you know.
Either way, Julian John's actually going to get a turn again. That's
Yep.
exciting. So let's go over to young Julian.
Now, I saw a flash of Cut to Ribbons in hand, so if he can combine that with a Chain Whirler and another land at some point, he can actually clear that Lyra Dawnbringer. And he has a Virtual Fireball in the graveyard. However, we're not sure if he even has a 5th land yet, let alone another Goblin Chain Whirler.
Attention Magic players, we are looking for one more person to begin.
Julian John going to go to the attack step. Trigger the Bomac Courier. This will be an attack here for 7. Job's got a lot of life to work with, so he might be okay just taking this damage. Here's Chandra post-combat. Job is going to start by activating his Escanta. Take a look at the top couple of the cards. Again, a card like Nexus of Fate is lights out here. Or it certainly seems that way. Job will take Teferi, powerful magic card. Those 3 cards will go to the bottom. Teferi will go to the grip. Chandra will resolve. Gonna plus, play a Heart of Kieran. All right, well, that's a blocker.
It's true.
Pass
So
the turn back.
Teferi can still tuck it. The problem is, I don't think we can tuck plus play a Time Walk in the same turn yet. Job looks like he has a spell end of turn here. I'm curious what it is.
Me too. Thinking about a little something here.
team conferring here, just try to make the best decision possible in this last match, potentially, of their tournament.
It's going to be a negate on the Heart of Kieran. Okay. So it looks like Joe might just be saying, I'm going to try to play for the win. If I draw Nexus, this one is over.
Yeah, and he's got 4 outs because it always goes back into your deck.
Yep. So Joe will draw a card. Nexus is a game winner and a top 8 earner. He'll draw a card.
Look like a Glacial Fortress.
Five mana.
Modern Classic players.
It's fairy time.
For the 8th and final round.
Now keep in mind, one of those lands is a Gift of Paradise land. So if Teferi draws a Nexus of Fate, that'll work too.
Yeah, it does get to untap 2 lands. Doesn't look like he draw it. That's not the look of a man who just won the game.
Yep.
But he's still at 16 life here. He could play this a little more conservatively, maybe even hold back Lyra Dawnbringer. But at the very least, I like using Lyra to clear the Chandra off the other side of the table, since Chandra plus a lot of other cards can combo kill the Lyra.
Yeah, I think that's important here. Joe might be considering just attacking Julian John, but I like killing Chandra, and it looks like Job does too. So the Torch of Defiance is going to exit the battlefield. Lyra does a nice job of cleaning that up. Up to 21 life, Joe will play a Glacial Fortress. Remember Teferi's trigger, of course, as that's very important.
Yeah, it's important to note, too, that since he gets to untap lands here with Teferi, one of which is the Gift of Paradise, he can still use Search for Iskanta, find some sort of fog effect, and that'll not only prevent his life total from decreasing, but also potentially protect his Teferi from an attack.
Could find a negate.
Yep.
Something very useful could be found here. That's the fog effect you mentioned. Haze of Pollen.
Yep. Just pushing ever closer to buying enough time to find that Time Walk and close the game with Lyra.
The untap there of Iskanta, along with the Gift of Paradise land. And we head back over to Julian John. You can tell by his body language he knows he's in some serious trouble here. And Julian, a team-constructed winner in his own right. He knocks the top of his deck. He knows he needs something. He knows exactly what he wants. I think he may have to try another copy of Chandra.
That's what it looked like to me.
I'm just not sure if that's something that he needs. He'd like to go to combat. It looks like Scrap Heap Scrounger and Goblin Chain Royal will go towards Teferi. Bomac Courier will go at Job. None of it matters, though. Haze of Pollen will resolve. Not sure what's going on in that picture.
Someone is blowing pollen dust at, I guess, a skeleton robot?
I'm blowing it in me. What is that robot?
I don't know. There's Omnicat, so maybe it's like a demon mummy?
I'd buy Demon Mummy. That should have been a creature type in that set. Demon Mummy. They blew it.
No, that lady blew that pollen all over the demon mummy.
That's true. Upkeep. Job on the hunt for Nexus of Fate. 2, 3, 4. Teferi it is. Still hasn't found a Nexus. Remember, he does get a draw step, though. Remember, Nexus of Fate is a game winner. That's what he's looking for. Another draw.
It's going to be a tight one.
Can't fade it forever, Julian. This can't feel good.
Well, he found another Haze of Pollen. That's also very good.
Yep. Job might cycle that, honestly. He's going to cycle your
a different cycling card. I think the Haze of Pollen's a little too valuable to cycle, but if he hit the Nexus of Fate, he can still cast it during his end step because of the untap 2. He stepped up his body language, attacking more quickly. He might have found it.
I think he may have found it, too. Here's Teferi's untap trigger, Gift of Paradise land, and this showing the Nexus, and that is going to do it. Jonathan Job's going to win this match here against Julian John, 2-0, and for the team of David Thomas, Brian Basoco, and Jonathan Job, that's a win, and that means they are in to the top 8.